I'm fairly new. I'm fairly new to Power BI. I did one presentation last year, I think, at this group. My colleague David Butron was one of the leaders of this, and when he got into a new position, he asked if I could step in and thought that I could be helpful. So hopefully I can be. I'm the Dean of Institutional Research at Riverside Community College District's offices. Previously, I was in Tableau for a long time, so Power BI was new, moving over to RCCD, and it's been a learning curve, but it's a really cool product to use. We had a really interesting meeting for you all today. Instead of doing our normal presentations, we've put together some breakout rooms where we could do some discussion around the topics of Power BI. And the email we sent out to you highlighted those topics. I believe they're one's Power Query, and then there's DAX and modeling, and then AI. And what's the other one I'm missing? I think it's
Visualization and reporting.
visualization and reporting. So you'll be given the option to a poll that we're going to give to you, and you can choose which one that you'd like to go to, and then you'll automatically be assigned into that group when we go into those groups. So do we have the agenda up? I don't think I have the agenda for this. Do either Katie or Jaime, do you have the agenda?
I actually don't have it in front of me, but I think that you did a great job with the start. And then
Okay.
we'll do our breakout rooms for 30 minutes.
Sounds good. Yeah. So
Awesome.
we asked you all to maybe prepare some questions for the different topics or some examples of what you're going to be talking about. And so I'm going to go into the Power Query one, and I have a dashboard that I've used heavily with Power Query that I'd like to share with you all. So there's the poll.
Yeah. So thanks, UE. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think everybody's back, right, from the breakout room. So um, I think the next thing we're gonna do is the facilitators are gonna are we doing a share out?
Correct. Yep.
Do I have a facilitator that would like to go first?
I'll go first. Yeah, so our breakout focused on visualization and reporting. And one of the things that we spent a good amount of time on was there was a researcher who was trying to figure out exactly how to share dashboards. So from a reporting standpoint, what's the best method or approach to use to share dashboards with folks who don't have a Power BI license. So like I think that's probably the best way to put it. For those that don't have a Power BI license, how are you able to give access to those folks with the dashboards you published? So we had a discussion around that. I was glad that folks contributed and shared their thoughts from other colleges. One of the approaches that was shared was the idea we at our college, one of the things that we do is we use SharePoint as our main hub. So in other words, that's where we go to publish our dashboard. So we get that embedded link from Power BI service, as I'm sure you all are familiar with it in terms of that publishing piece. So we get it there. Then at Mount SAC, what we do is we just publish those links and we publish those dashboards within SharePoint. Within that, that's how we then direct people to SharePoint. Is we have, actually, I can even go ahead and share for the sake of keeping the discussion going. And so again, like one example is we have our RA dashboards launch page. And so one of the things that we try to do is we try to direct as many people as possible to this page. And again, you see hyperlinks with different forms of dashboards here. And so in short, that's kind of our approach to direct people to like a main hub where those that want to access the dashboards, whether it's faculty, staff, or administrators, can go ahead and do that. The one last thing I'll add is that there are SharePoint pages that we've developed that is just restricted to particular individuals. So there's a director of a program who's asked, I just want certain individuals to look at my dashboard. So within SharePoint, you can go ahead and modify and add criteria so that manually we've added people where only those particular individuals can see, access that SharePoint page and access the dashboards as well. Question.
Yeah, I was curious if, and I don't know if this is a thing, if you embed the dashboard into the SharePoint, do they still need the subscription to see it, or how does that, have you ever tried that?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of our workaround. Our experience has been we kind of try. I think we're in a dilemma as others have been. Like when you first start off, okay, so I think the key thing is how do I share these reports now? And so we were trying different options. I'm like, okay, well, if I share it this way, everyone needs a Power BI license. So in short, that's been our workaround. I don't know what other people's experiences have been with that, but I know for us at our district, that's been the workaround for us to not have everyone have to get a Power BI license. Yeah. So that's it. That's a summary for the visualization and reporting group.
Like Kathy has a question.
Kathy.
Hi. Jaime and I were talking about this yesterday, and it's sort of a offshoot of what he was talking about. So our campus is now on Microsoft 365, and within that, I see that I can access the Power BI service application. Now, I'm not sure if that's because I have a license for it or because it's now part of the Microsoft 365 for all of our employees. And I do have an email into our IT to find out. But I was wondering if anyone else is aware of whether or not Power BI service is part of Microsoft 365. And then if so, have they tried using row level security within the service to limit who can see specific data on the dashboards?
Yes, Kathy, we have an analyst in my office who uses row level security for everything, and he's super knowledgeable about it. I cannot tell you anything about it. But if you have questions about it, I'm happy to direct you.
Thank you.
And Jaime, you and Kathy work together?
We do indeed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we can communicate that way. So yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
I'd be interested in that too.
I might be able to, yeah, I won't make any promises here. Maybe he's willing to share some resources that I can put out on the listserv. I was about to say maybe I can convince him to present, but I'm not sure.
We make most of our dashboards public, and just we generate public information. We're just putting it differently, and so it just makes it much easier.
Yeah, we have a lot of our dashboards public, but we're starting to make more student level, especially list dashboards for people and engagement centers to use, and so having more security around that would be really helpful. I know and I don't think Power BI is the issue. I think it's our business processes aren't really built for it. So we're kind of right now to get we're building a data governance process at our college, and we're actually we're a premium service with Power BI, so we're migrating on to Fabric. I'm not sure quite what that means as far as what we're going through, but we're going to be this is an opportunity for us to kind of make those processes. So yeah, security is definitely an issue, and right now it's just basically like, does your supervisor know you need this? Then contact them. So there's no like training and stuff. So I'd like to I'd like to make it better.
Yeah, we generally, when it's student list, that kind of thing, we'll use Power BI to process the data, and then we'll export it as Excel and send them a password protected Excel file. So we try to maintain that kind of security. We have another project, and another thing I do, and just for what it's worth, is that if it's for a particular program, I send the link directly to the person who's asking it, and they can share the link with whoever they think they need to share with, and so it's not public. I mean, it's public in the sense that it's published that way, but it's not available to anybody else because unless somebody shares that particular link.
Steven?
I do have another topic about versions. It's a bit annoying, almost like every month they'll ask you to download a new version of like Power BI desktop. Is kind of annoying. But at the same time, I found that some of my older dashboard, the PBIX file will not work. If I upgrade to the latest version, my older version of the PBIX file no longer working. And I have a big issue with that because I tried to add another column, it won't let me. The whole thing will just fail. And I have to open a ticket with Microsoft, and it wasn't really resolved. It takes like almost 3 weeks to get a hold of them. It just really very bad experience, I think, for different versioning, and I don't know if you guys have the same issue with that.
I agree that the frequent updates are annoying, but it seems that my Power BI has been updating automatically without me having to upload it. Have other people found that to be the case? And I have not run into the issue where an earlier version has not opened. The new thing that's happening right now is that I can open more than 2 Power BI dashboards at a time, but once I get to the third one, it's like functionality goes away. I can't look at calculated columns or measures, and I found that to be very annoying because sometimes I have more than 2 open, and I'm working on them trying to share information between them. Sometimes their updates aren't great. There was an update they did, don't remember the number. One of the things that we do a lot, that I do a lot anyways, is I'm processing the data, like for addresses, for instance. Process the data, I have the table, and then I'll copy that table and paste it into Excel to send off to a department or something like that. Well, they had one where that functionality was no longer available. And so, Google, and it's like, without that, I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm going to do without that. But I went online. Apparently, it was a problem. Everybody knew about it, and then they did a new update and fixed that problem. But has anybody else run into a case where an update did not allow you to open a previous version of a file?
He's nodding. That's scary because we archive all of our old PBIX files, and now for updating, and if that's going to happen, I don't know. We're with a Fabric consultant right now, and they're telling us that we shouldn't be putting in like a PBIX like archive, that everything should just be freshed out of the cloud for them, and just that would be like the main source when you're uploading them.
So in the interest of time, I can report on my very small but enjoyable group. Because
Yeah.
didn't we want to do a survey before we ended here today? Group?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I had one person with me, which was great, and we had a nice conversation about star schemas and DAX and measures and things like that. So hopefully it was helpful. Yi from Citrus joined me, and hopefully it was helpful. You have any anything you want to add to that? You don't have to. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Okay. No, I don't have anything to add, but thank you for showing me your dashboard.
And thank you for showing me yours. So
Oh, and thank you for sharing the SQLBI. I'll check that out. No.
Yeah, we were talking about some resources. We talked about Guys in the Cube, and I mentioned SQLBI.com. So okay, so that's it for us.
Great. Well, I was in the data transformation one, and I'll go quick. We basically talked about how when we use Power Query and you have lots of data that you're pushing through it, that it can slow down and take a long time to load a dashboard. And there was some good advice given for that. So one of them was I didn't know you could do this. You could enable and disable some data sources in Power Query, as far, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Brent, because I had to step out because of the plumber, but so, and then we asked for other ideas of how people kind of avoid some of the slowdown we might have, which is, and we build there a lot of things in SQL at ours before we bring it into it, so that it has less to do in Power Query. And so, yeah, and I think there was another way. Indexing the rows helps a lot because it helps them sort through, apparently. So maybe I'll do that as well. Feel free to add anything I missed, Brian.
No, that was did a pretty good job. I appreciate our little group was pretty good on sharing a lot of good ways to kind of help reduce load costs. So it was good.
Awesome. Very quick, kind of on that note, I can share about the AI and Power BI, and the reverse of that. I was the moderator, and AI functionality is turned off in my district. So I was able to show what it looks like when your AI functionality is turned off and you throw an error trying to use some of the features. So I showed that, and then I shared some resources that I have found helpful. Should those functionalities be enabled for me one day, I know about them now and we'll be able to dive into using them. So in the AI document in the folder I shared in the chat, there's some videos that I found helpful. And then we just kind of had a conversation about, we were all kind of on the same beginner level of using AI with Power BI and just exploring what it looks like. And we kind of agreed might be helpful to do a call out to the listserv to find out if anyone has really found utility in any of those features. And then obviously feel free to chime in, group.
All right, well, I think that's all the groups, and we have a survey that we'd like to give out before you all go, so that we can make some more content and better meetings in the future. Jaime, do we want to put it in? Oh, there it is. It's in the chat. So there's a link in the chat. So we're gonna give 5 minutes before. If you could just fill it out now, that would be great. We give you 5 minutes before the end of the hour to do that. If not, you gotta go. So thank you all for joining us today, and I hope it was helpful.
One last admin note before you leave. We have learned from Microsoft that they're rolling back the meeting functionalities of Microsoft Fabric, which is the only reason that we have a group in Fabric. It hasn't happened yet, but we're discussing transitioning to some other situation. So in the next few months, you'll see information about if we use Google Sites, or it seems like we're using Google Drive for documents, so that might be a good fit. But just so you know, if you've joined the Fabric group for these meetings, you'll be able to delete that account shortly. And if you have any suggestions as to how we might kind of collate resources and host all these meetings in a single spot, we'd love to hear them. You can email any of us.
Great. So anything else before we adjourn?
I think that's it. Just want to thank everyone for their time, for joining this quarterly Power BI convening. And as it relates to the survey itself, this survey will also be going out and we'll be sending it out to the Power BI listserv. And again, really what it's going to do is it's going to help us plan for the upcoming Power BI convenings and then also get a better sense of the areas of focus. So what topics do you want us to discuss? What are the areas of focus that you want us to really emphasize and focus on for the upcoming convenings? So we do encourage everyone to please participate and complete that survey. Yeah, beyond that, I think we're good to go.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. And have a good summer.